Oh, why are these tart pans waiting so patiently? Well, I have big plans for them today. I'm going to make a very fancy tart using black beans as a crust. And how does that happen? Well, through the magic of food processing. But today, I'm going to make a black bean crusted tart, and it's going to have goat cheese in it, actually on it, and asparagus and sun-dried tomatoes, and it's just going to be fabulous. Well, it took about, I don't know, 7 minutes or so to process these beans into submission, and they're really a paste right now, sort of similar to the consistency of hummus. A good hummus, not liquidy or anything like that. What I'm going to do, oh, also I added about a cup of water to the beans to get them to this point, so that's probably why they're more pasty rather than doughy. So what I'm going to end up doing is probably, instead of rolling it out as the recipe suggested, I'm going to press it into my 2 tart pans so that it makes it a nice good shape. Well, they look fantastic. Why did we get so fancy today for these special tarts? Well, today is Mom's birthday, and tomorrow is the annual family get-together at Mom's house. So I thought I would make these special bean-based tarts for the crowd. I think it'll be really good. They look fantastic. So the recipe that I'm taking this from comes from a big thick book called the Bean Book. And what it says is to immediately put the toppings on it and stick it in the oven and bake it. Instead of doing that, what I'm going to do is give it a partial bake now for about 15 minutes at 375 degrees. And there's no temperature change in the baking time here because I'm not using agave nectar. It's not a sweet recipe. So in they go. Okay, let's take a look. Oh, they look like they've dried out a bit, which is lovely. It's exactly what we're looking for, and I'm going to pull them out of the oven and let them cool for a while I prep the other ingredients. Right now, what you see sizzling in this pan is a handful of pine nuts, pinoli nuts, depending on where you come from, and I am going to just lightly saute them with some spiced olive oil that is from the jar of sun-dried tomatoes that I'm going to use. Actually, I'm not going to use an entire jar, but some of the sun-dried tomatoes that I'm going to use in the goat cheese prep. So I'm lightly toasting these, and when they're done, I'm going to pull them out and start sauteing the asparagus. 2 of the things that my mother absolutely loves are asparagus, and I'll tell you, this asparagus is really fresh. I went to the store this morning to get a couple of ingredients that I needed for this recipe and for another recipe, and the fellow stocking the vegetables just pulled it out of the box, so I was very happy about that. But aside from asparagus, my mother really likes shallots. I really like them toasted, so I'm combining that because I put the shallots in first to get them a little bit closer to being toasted, but I just wanted to make sure that everything was covered slightly with a little bit of olive oil, because when the asparagus goes on top of these tarts, they're going to dry out a lot. So I'm going to add a little olive oil on top as well, but this pre-cooking is going to help because actually, I need to salt them, but I'm going to make a little bit of the liquid come out of the asparagus when I salt them. And I'm going to arrange them very prettily on top of the tarts later, after I've gotten finished with the goat cheese prep. So I'm going to cook these for another, I don't know, maybe 2-3 minutes, stirring constantly, and salt them lightly, and then put them aside to cool before I can place them on the tarts. Goat cheese filling is very simple. We have an 11-ounce package of goat cheese. Gosh, I don't even know what the measurement of this is. I would say about a half a cup of freshly sliced basil, and probably an equal amount or close to it of sun-dried tomatoes, also sliced very thinly, as thinly as possible, and rough chopped. I'm going to mix these together, and then we're going to spread this on the tarts. Oh, they look so pretty. I have to say, I was never really a big believer of the offset spatula until I actually bought one. And let me tell you, having an offset spatula to spread this goat cheese mixture on top of the pretty flaky bean crust is just wonderful. I love it. It's great. So what I did was I concentrated on getting it up into the crust itself, because the crust doesn't have too much flavor because I didn't spice it, which if I did this again I would probably do, and just gave it a nice thick coating. And you can see the basil, and there's plenty of basil and sun-dried tomatoes, so there's going to be a lot of flavor in this filling. So next I'm going to decorate these lovely tarts with my cooled off asparagus and shallot mixture. I nearly forgot about the pine nuts, but there they are. You can see them sprinkled liberally around the tart. And we have the asparagus and the wonderful, wonderful shallots. And I took some time to decorate it really carefully, decorate each of these tarts really carefully, so that everybody would be able to have a taste of each of the flavors. So I'm very excited about these. And now I'm going to stick them in the oven and let them bake for 15 minutes. We're at the 15-minute mark, and I'm thinking that we can leave these in for another 2, 3, 4, or 5 minutes just to get them a little bit browner. I've set up a kind of cooling station in my dining room because I have other recipes to make, but for now I just want to let the asparagus tarts cool, and boy, don't they look great. I'm so excited, and I can't wait to taste them at the party tomorrow.